next year, I want to really take advantage of all the cool, like, outside stuff there is to do. I want to learn more about the history and the geology, and I want to learn more about how geology and history intersect, I guess. These are my interests now, apparently.
Do you ever just want to give your past self, like, a good, solid hug? Because that's how I feel after watching that clip. Almost exactly a year ago, my husband and I packed up our apartment and moved from Ann Arbor, Michigan to the Upper Peninsula. By that point, I had been to the UP exactly twice in my life, and I had never been to the town that we were moving to. And y'all, it has been quite the year. So whether you're hoping to visit the Upper Peninsula or move here yourself someday, here are 4 things I've learned during my first year in the UP that might also be helpful to you. The first thing I learned was about the flies. If you're hoping to visit the Upper Peninsula anytime between like late spring and late July, you might want to bring some pants because there are a lot of flies that hatch in the streams around here, and they are very interested in biting you. We've got black flies, stable flies, deer flies, and also horse flies. So basically, more flies than I had ever had to think about before. How common the flies are depends on where you are and what the weather is like, among other things. If you'd like some more specific details, I've included a link in the description below. But overall, for me, I found that some long socks, loose long pants, and long sleeves really do help a lot. And if you really just want to avoid the flies altogether, I might plan a trip for August or September. Or you could just come in the winter. Because the second thing I learned this year is that winter is not as hard as I thought it would be. Now, I'm able-bodied, my mental health doesn't really change with the seasons, and we have a reliable car, which I know contributes to a lot. So, that said, for me, winter in the Upper Peninsula has been all about just making the most of it. Like, yeah, we get so much snow up here that somebody had to invent a special shovel called a Youper Scoop, or a Youper Scooper. Youper being the nickname for the people who live up here. But this kind of winter also has a lot of magic. Some of my favorite things so far have been frozen waterfalls and frozen lighthouses, but there are also all kinds of skiing and sledding and snowmobiling and snowshoeing and any other activity with snow in it. You can probably do that up here. But there's also this incredible thing that happens with Lake Superior in the winter, where it develops these big, rustling, floating pancakes of ice. And then as the winter goes on, the lake freezes as far out as you can see. And if you stand on the beach, all you can hear is the distant howl of the wind over the ice. Also, even on the days where it's too windy or snowy or cold to go play outside, having that kind of environment outdoors makes staying indoors feel that much cozier. Oh, and snow tires are a godsend. I'll just leave that there. 3, and this is a quick one, if you're visiting the Upper Peninsula, you might want to bring a map. If you're not familiar with the Upper Peninsula, it might be bigger than you're thinking. It can be as much as a 5-hour drive from the Mackinac Bridge to the Wisconsin border. And in that stretch, there's a lot of forest, and not always a lot of self-service. In general, driving up here is pretty straightforward, and if you're going to any of the major towns or cities, there should be plenty of gas stations and places to stop and ask for directions along the way. But if you're planning a wilderness adventure, I wouldn't rely on being able to look up directions on your phone. We keep a map book in our car, and while we haven't always needed it, it's nice to have around. Also, as a nice bonus, you can mark all of the gas stations, good restaurants, and interesting rock formations on your trip. Finally, maybe the biggest thing I've started learning in my first year in the Upper Peninsula is that this place is kind of a wonderland. I mean, it has its own problems and challenges just like any other place, but as someone who grew up in proper, sprawling Metro Detroit suburbia, there's something really special about being up here. Like, where I live, most restaurants aren't open every day, there are very few delivery options, and there are very few chain stores, including no Panera Bread, no Chipotle, no many of the stores I used to shop at, etc. So as a result, I've gotten to enjoy more local businesses. I've also gotten to plan a few road trips to pick something up from a particular store in the next city, which is still new enough that it feels really endearing. Also, I've been trying to ask more questions, like, what's that weird building downtown? Or how did those cliffs get there? And like you've seen here, that's been amazing. Learning more local history and geology has really just kind of cast a beautiful light on my hometown. And I now walk around expecting to find stories everywhere. In general, I think that applies to any place in the world. But if you're thinking about visiting or moving to the Upper Peninsula, know that you're going to come across some incredible people and incredible stories, if you're willing to take a minute to look for them. I'm sure a ton of y'all watching have UP-related wisdom, so if you'd like, Feel free to leave one of your favorite tips for traveling or living here in the comments below. In the meantime, I'm gonna go back to wrapping up my 2021 because there are some more stories I plan on sharing next year, and I am super excited about them. For now, thanks for being along for the ride. And if you're someone who supported my work on Patreon this year, bought any of my art, or shared one of my videos on social media or with a friend, thank you. I continue to be wildly grateful for you. I hope y'all have an unexpectedly lovely new year, and I'll see you in 2022.